it's important for them to look at their triggers, because there can be things that are driving those, um, like the hot flashes. So, I mean, alcohol is an obvious one, spicy food as well, maybe eating too close to bedtime, like anything that's stimulating the body. But it could also be that this is in the second half of their cycle and their progesterone is very low and they just actually need a bit of bioidentical hormone therapy support, because then it's the progesterone that's helping to offset that estrogen that's going to then help reduce those sorts of symptoms. So I think it's maybe taking a step back and just to see if there are any patterns around lifestyle. And then if you've kind of done your review of your lifestyle and there's really no pattern, but it's only at a certain time of your cycle, so in the second half of your cycle, if you still have a regular cycle, then it may be time for you to think about supporting yourself either through herbs. So there's a herb called Vitex that has been proven to support progesterone levels. So maybe starting with something like that. And then also, if you are open to hormone therapy, to work with your doctor to get a prescription for bioidentical progesterone therapy, just as a starting point, just to see if that helps. Because, as we know, sleep is so important that it's really about trying to optimize like your environment. So do all the basic sleep hygiene things as a starting point, not sleeping with too much, so that you get that, super, super hot feeling. And then, just track to see if there's anything from a lifestyle perspective that's driving it before you go down the route of maybe supporting yourself through herbs or hormones.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So are there any other kind of stress management pieces of advice that you might give to people that we haven't mentioned yet?
Yeah. So one thing I didn't mention from a nutrition standpoint is really the need to support your gut in perimenopause as well. So I know that you really focus on gut health as well with your clients, but there's a part of the microbiome that's called the estrobolome that's responsible for metabolizing our hormones. So gut health is really important to make sure that we are getting rid of the excess hormones that we don't need in our bodies, because the more we have recirculating hormones, the more we're going to have these issues like the hot flashes and the sore breasts and the irritability, etc. So when it comes to estrogen, whatever we don't use, we want to lose, which means metabolism through the liver and then final excretion through the gut. So that's really important. So lots of good fibrous veggies, legumes, if you can handle those, etc. So diversity of plant food is really important when it comes to gut health, which I know you probably preach as well. So that's from a nutrition point. We've spoken about movement. So from a stress management standpoint, I like to talk about, things that physically stress the body. And we obviously need to talk about toxins when it comes to that, because a sluggish liver and a high toxic load, which often are xenoestrogens, which act like estrogen in our body, are only going to make hormonal issues worse. So working your lifestyle in a way that supports detoxification on a daily basis is hugely beneficial for a woman in perimenopause, menopause, but everybody in general. So, things like dry brushing, sweating, sauna, cruciferous vegetables, lemon water, all of those different things just to support your different detox pathways is very important. Making sure you go into the toilet every day, full evacuation, etc. And then, I recommend my clients to do a liver detox. So the Equilife, Dr. Cabral's Equilife detox on a quarterly basis, because that just really helps to, reduce the toxic load, clear things out, and gives us a nice clean slate to start moving forward with. Because the issue is when you have clogged detox pathways, then you're going to have these recirculating hormones, including cortisol, overnight as well. And that can
Mm.
be the reason why people wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, which I know is a big thing for women
Mm.
in perimenopause. So, yes, it's the heat, but then it's also like, ding, why am I awake at
Mm.
3 o'clock in the morning consistently? And very often it's got to do with the toxic load. So, it's supporting the detox organs, but it's also trying to reduce your exposure of toxins just generally. So choosing natural skincare products, personal care products, cleaning products, leaving your windows open, getting an air purifier if you're in a very densely populated area. Really just thinking about how you can reduce your exposure to toxins. I think here in Australia, where I live in Sydney, mold is a huge thing. There's been a lot of flooding. So, if you're exposed to mold, I know that it happens a bit in the UK as well.
Mm.
Like really trying to get rid of that in your environment, because that can be highly toxic for us as well. So just
Yeah.
being aware of that.